My name is Nathan Lewis. I am the Vice President of our Workers' Compensation Services Division. I have been with Next Day Access since March of 2016, so a little over 8 years. My role is overseeing a team of coordinators. I'm involved with obviously business development and client relations, and also, developing and enhancing our product lines and our services for all of our insurance clients. Whenever we receive a new referral for a workers' comp project, the first thing I'm thinking about right away is, do we have all the information? There's a lot of things that we need to know in order for us to do our job to the best that we can do it. And so it could be small details, or it could be large details. We obviously want to know someone's diagnosis, their prognosis, their height, their weight. Do they own the home? Do they rent the home? Is this the home that they live in? Is it going to be the home that we're actually performing services at? They may be somewhere else. So gathering complete information at the beginning of a new project is essential to being efficient and making sure that we are providing the right solution for the injured worker. This job, this home modification that we finished up this spring, was rewarding and challenging at the same time. The gentleman's name was Segundo Tragoso, and of the many things that made it challenging, one of the biggest was that the home was empty in Florida. He lived in Oklahoma. And so it's very rare for us to be evaluating and modifying a house that's not inhabited. And it also presented some challenges with, picking out product selection, him having a full understanding of what those materials were that were available to him. And then on top of all that, he was Spanish speaking only. And so thank goodness for his niece, Fiorella, who lived in South Carolina, and the incredible amount of time and hours she spent with us translating throughout the process. I was also fortunate enough to have a contractor, an architect that were fluent in Spanish as well. So although we had these things working against us, we were able to pull through with a lot of help and people contributing to have a successful project. So the interesting thing with home modifications is we are always taking into consideration the person's abilities and limitations. And there's also a definition of how independent they'll be or how dependent they'll be if there's a provision of care, if they have caretakers doing things for them that they're not doing on their own. And so what was unique about this and what I really loved is that Segundo is incredibly independent. So the entire modification that we did for him was based on him carrying out all of his activities of daily living. So he was making his own meals, he's bathing himself, obviously access to his bedroom, his laundry room. So the entire house was customized for him to be 100% independent. And those are always fun projects for us when we can help someone really be independent on their own, functioning safely within their home with the modifications that we perform. The laundry room modifications, so he had a door on his laundry room. That doorway was narrow, and we had to widen the door so he could access it in his wheelchair. It's very common in a laundry room environment that someone confined to a wheelchair would want to have a front-loading washer and dryer. So we put front-loading washer and dryer in there so he could access those and independently do laundry. We also did a roll-under utility sink for him so he could wash his hands or whatever he needed to do. And we also created a roll-under table for him to fold his laundry and to store all of his supplies. The kitchen modifications for Mr. Tragoso, they were 100% customized. And so we He had an existing island that we reduced the size of the island, so he would have mobility ways on each side of it, between some cabinetry and also between his fridge. We actually customized that island to have a microwave at a lower level where he could utilize the microwave. Every single drawer in the lower cabinetry was pull-out shelving. And then in the upper cabinets, we had all D-style pull-down levers. So he could access probably 90% of his cabinetry within his kitchen. We also created a nice roll-under cooktop, an electric stovetop, and it had all front controls, so he could easily access and control the temperatures of all burners. And it also, by rolling under, it allows him to reach those burners, and it limits his ability to potentially burn himself. Being in workers' comp now for over 8 years, there's a couple things that keep me going. I like to say I'm living the dream when people ask how I'm doing. Obviously helping people, serving others. And outside of that, it's solving problems. There's challenges, there's variables, it's solving a puzzle. And so every time you have a project, you could have someone with the same diagnosis, but the house is different, right? The structure itself has certain complications or variables. And so coming into work every day and helping people and solving problems and creating solutions that are different and challenging every day is really rewarding and exciting for me. So that keeps me going in workers' comp. If you're not familiar with workers' comp, it's insurance, and in the insurance industry, there can be a lot of negative connotations. We've been kind of inundated with Hollywood movies and injustices, but I would like to just share overall that the insurance companies, these carriers, these payers, they're really trying to do what they're responsible for and what's in the best interest of the injured workers. And so that's something that you may not think, or you've been conditioned to think insurance companies won't do, but actually in my experience, the overwhelming amount do go above and beyond. And the other thing is these families, these injured workers, they're going through life-altering, life-changing scenarios and injuries. Some of them never to fully heal, some of them obviously to heal and get back to 100%. And so, just understanding how important it is to care for your client, right? And perform services and do everything well, but also building rapport and trust and letting the families know, these people that are claimants in the situation, that you have their best interests in mind and that you're going to put your best foot forward for them. Those are maybe two things about workers' comp that are very unique that people may not realize.